He said, whatever you do, do it spiritually. I urge you to keep giving people words of encouragement. In the times what you do, I always ask God, to say, God, if I send you somewhere, so I need you to talk to this young lady, I'm taking the Holy Spirit with me. God will give you words to say.
Amen.
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 You're doing it for Him. Amen.
Amen.
That's what God wants us to be there for each other. Sometimes you keep singing, the way you sing is what God is.
Amen.
The windows of heaven is opening up. They hear your voice, the angels hear your voice.
Amen.
So I thank God for each of you. Now it's time for us to go into the Word of God, to hear the Word of God.
Amen.
Someone tell the Lord, thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
God, it's so good. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the Word. I ask you to touch in a mighty way, touch every individual that's here today. And allow your Holy Spirit to use me to say what I need to say to your people. I want to say thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
How many of us know about favor? Not many.
Amen.
But as I begin to look at favor, favor isn't fair. I'm talking about, we're gonna scroll through the book of Genesis, chapter 37, all the way through chapter 50. We're not gonna read it all, but we're gonna scroll through it, and this is about a young man's life who felt favor wasn't fair, but he didn't give up on God. And a lot of times God put us through so much in life, those who we choose to do His work. It's not easy working for God. But when you know that you've been called by God, you don't give up.
Amen.
Because you know God has a special calling on your life, and the enemy will get into some of the closest people to make you turn your back on God. And a lot of us look at favor, they say, oh, he has favor, she has favor, and people will tend to envy you. People will tend, I'm talking, if you're looking good or you're doing good, a young lady can have her hair fixed pretty, and then you can't get yours fixed. You begin to hate that young lady. She's dressing nice, she's looking good, God is taking care of her. People get jealous. Because God showed you favor. He said, I'm going to give this sister money. And the bad thing about it, that person is doing something for themselves. You hate them because they doing something for themselves and they doing something to please God. But you're going to look at the life of Joseph, how God showed him so much favor. I don't care how many times the enemy tried to stop Joseph. He went through so many hardships of life, he did not let that stop him from doing what God called him to do. Amen?
Amen.
So if you turn to the book of Genesis chapter 37, we're going to start at verse 2.
What happened?
Genesis 37, verse 2. A lot of men and women went through so much in life in the Bible that were chosen by God, but they didn't give up. A lot of us, we give up on God because we go through different hardships in life, but I want you to place your mind on to do the things Joseph did. Because you're going to have some hardships in life. If you decide to do work for God, hardships is next. Amen? With people.
Amen.
But remember, people are temporary, but God's what? Forever. He's eternal. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now remember, it's looking like Joseph was snitch. His brother Jacob, he sent Joseph to go out and see if his brothers are doing what he told them to do. And Joseph's gonna get him a bad report. And you know how it is, a lot of us will slack if people is not watching us. We need people to be over us.
Amen.
Amen, because we're not gonna do what the boss or what whoever tells us to do. But it's bad when you be sent out to snitch on people. The people gonna try to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the little snitch, he around and snitching on us. We're gonna get him. But Joseph had favor from God and he had favor from his father.
Mm-hmm.
He was chosen to carry out a mission for God. And they saw that Joseph had so many spiritual gifts, he was a dreamer. And something about Joseph, his dreams, they came to pass. When he began to dream, it happened. So we're going to go to verse 3. It says, now Israel, that's Jacob, his name is Israel, he loved Joseph more than any of his sons. That's one thing I want each of us to know. A lot of our children are grown, this is here, but you can't show favor when it comes to your children. They're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll begin to pick on the one that you're showing favor to.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to show you that favor isn't fair. Okay? Because he had been born to him of old age. That's why he loved him so much. If anyone knows the life of Joseph, Jacob was in love with Rachel. We know he was tricked by Rachel's father to sleep with Rachel's sister, but he didn't want Rachel because it was in dark, he couldn't see her, and he eventually had to do some work to get to Rachel. But he also impregnated Leah also and had other sons, but he was so happy that he had a son by Rachel, and this was Joseph. So what happened? He made him a hornet robe. When the brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, what they began to do? They began to hate him and couldn't speak a kind word to him. What I don't understand about what we do when verse 5 comes, we begin to tell people about our blessings. You tell people about your blessings, well, God gave me this and that kind of money, or God gave me something special. Mm-hmm. People begin to get jealous of you. Mm-hmm. Don't tell anyone about your blessings.
Amen.
Just let them see it.
That's right.
Because look what Joseph's going to do. Joseph had dreams. And when he told his brothers, they hated him even more. I'm getting ready to do good. And what he going to tell them? He's going to tell them that I'm going to be, my dream told me, I'm going to be over you all. You want to be over us? You the little brother. How you going to be over us? And as you go down in scripture, they plotted to kill their own little baby brother. And it said, people out there would do the same thing to you.
Yes.
If they had a chance. But it's something about when God has his hands on you, people can't touch you.
That's right.
Like Myra said, pray without ceasing. If you're a praying man or woman, I don't care how that enemy tries to stop you. God got his hands on you.
Amen.
God had a special mission for Joseph, and he has a special mission for each of you.
Amen.
I don't care how people begin to hate on you or people begin to be jealous of your blessings, keep on praying, what you said, Myra, without ceasing.
Amen.
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 So let's skip down to verse 12. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flock. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, and I am going to send you to them. Remember, Joseph is sent out to snitch again.
Mm-hmm.
Very well, he replied. So he said to them, go and see if they is well with your brothers, they are well doing good with the flocks. And bring the word back to me. Then he sent him off in the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived, a man found him wandering around in the field and asked him, what are you looking for? He replied, I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks? They have moved from here, the man answered, and I heard you say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in a distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. This is his own brothers. And as some of you know about family members and friends, the same thing will happen to you if you are being blessed by God. It's pitiful, but that's the way the world goes. And it's a hard pill to swallow to know the very ones that you thought loved you will plot to kill you or hurt you because you are being blessed. Verse 19, they say, here comes the dreamer. They said to each other, come now, let us kill him and throw him into the centre. They threw him, wanted to kill him, but Reuben said he wanted to not kill him, just to throw him into a ditch. And then what we will say, we will tell our father, we'll take his robe and we'll soak it in goat's blood and tell him that a wild animal killed him. All of this because of jealousy. All of this because they thought he was going to be over them. And I'm here to tell you this should put something in your mind. Don't tell people about your blessings. People cannot stand to see you blessed.
Amen.
It's sad, instead of them saying they want to walk right beside you, they cannot stand to see you blessed. Amen.
Amen.
So Joseph began to just go through all types of suffering, knowing that his own brothers, who he looked up to, wanted to take his life because God showed him favor. Favor isn't fair. But we need to realize that when God puts you through something, he's about to bring you out of something.
Amen.
And that's what you need to know. You say, yes, I'm suffering for what's right. I'm suffering for you, God.
Amen.
Because something great is about to happen.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad it looks on the other side, the brighter side, something is greater to happen to you. Those who go through something and they still doing work for God and they don't give up, I'm here to tell you, payday is on the way.
Amen.
And that's what you need to do. You need to keep your heart focused on God. No matter what type of storm that you go through in life, keep your heart focused on God.
Amen.
So as Joseph began to get thrown into that ditch, they said, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to sell him as a slave. Own brother selling you off as a slave. But all of a sudden, Joseph, he was obedient to God. He didn't give up. He goes to Potiphar's house. Everybody know Potiphar? He was a leader in Egypt. Joseph began to show favor everywhere that he went. I'm talking favor was there for Joseph, but favor still wasn't fair. Joseph began to do everything, like I told you, when it comes to God's work, do the best that you can do. I'm talking, God is watching each of you do the best that you can do when it comes to doing work for God. I don't care if you outside of the church, continue to do good for God. Don't let me see you doing good here in church and I see you out on the street with somebody else and then you act like, oh, Pastor, I didn't know that was you right there. Don't be ashamed of the gospel inside the church and outside of the church. So let's turn to chapter 39, verse 1. Chapter 39, verse 1, Genesis. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. Potiphar, an Egyptian who was on one of Pharaoh's high officials, the captain of the guard, brought him from the Ishmaelites who taken him there. The Lord was with Joseph, that he prospered. Remember, Joseph prospered everywhere he go. I don't care where Joseph go, people begin to just love Joseph. Because whatever he did it with diligence, and he did it with respect. And he loved you no matter who you was. And everywhere you go, somebody saw something in Joseph. Because Joseph was chosen by God. When the master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did, Joseph found favor in the eyes and became his attendant. Potiphar put him in charge of the household and entrusted to his care in everything he owned. It's good when people can trust you. I always say it's good when you can live in a house and you can lay your money down anywhere and you don't have to worry about nobody touching it. He trusted Joseph that much. I don't care. I was getting a vehicle of mine worked on, and the guy who cut the grass, he was working on my vehicle. He said, Pastor, you saw the $100 that I said, yep, I put it here for you. I knew I had it in the right place. But some people, you might not leave $100. I didn't see $100. It's good when you be around people that you can trust. From time he put him in charge of the household, and all that he owned, the Lord blessed his household goods, and the Egyptian became because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, just because Joseph was there. That's what people don't realize. The God blessing you, it can rub off on them. But jealousy stopped them from being blessed. I'm talking about you will give them just as much as you have. You will show them how to get to where you are, but people let jealousy stop them from doing that. So Potiphar left everything in Joseph's care. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Now Joseph was a well-built man. Now just watch this. This is how the devil gets involved. Favor isn't fair. The wife began to look at Joseph. Nice looking, well-built man. And what she wanted Joseph to do, sleep with her. But Joseph, he was so respectful. He feared God. And he loved his master. He said, no, I'm not going to sleep with you. God is watching me. That's what you need to realize. You begin to fall in sin. Someone is always watching you. God watches you. If people think that God don't see everything, I believe in grace and mercy. God will have on you, but don't take grace and mercy for granted. Amen?
Amen.
Now, he see everything you do, but just you wanted to sleep with Joseph. And when Joseph told her, no, I respect my master. Okay, so look what happened. One day he went into the house and attended his duties. And none of the household servants was inside. She called him by his cloak and said, come to bed with me. But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out. Now she have something she can lie to try to bring this man of God down. But remember, God got him. He's on God's side. Amen. When he saw that he had left his cloak in her hand and run out the house, she called the household servants. Look, she said to them, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make a sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me, he heard me scream for help. He left his cloak beside me. She kept the cloak beside her master's home. Then she said to the story, the Hebrew slave you brought to me to sport me. But as soon as I screamed, he left his cloak beside me and ran out the house. And she hollered and said that he raped her. What Potiphar did, he still loved Joseph, but he had to stick beside his wife. And remember, I want each of you to know this. Just because that's your wife, your husband, your sister, your brother, or your mother, people will lie. Amen?
Amen.
When you look at Joseph and you look at the wife, just because she was his wife, that don't mean that she couldn't have lied on this young man.
That's right.
But what he did, he had Joseph thrown in prison. Okay? So look what happened. When Joseph go to prison, he still had favor. I'm talking had favor in prison. Verse 41, chapter 41. Then 2 years had passed. Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile, and out of the river where he came, 7 cows, sleek and fat, and gazed among the reeds. After them 7 cows, ugly and gaunt, came up of the Nile and stood beside him. Joseph began to dream, and he began to talk to the prisoners. And everything he told the prisoners in jail about their life, it happened. So when one of the prisoners got out of jail, he went to tell the head man of the jail, he went to tell the Pharaoh about this man that was dreaming. All of a sudden, Joseph began to tell the Pharaoh about his dreams. The Pharaoh put him in charge of Egypt, next to the Pharaoh, showed him favor, put him in charge of Egypt. Verse 41 says, so Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh took a signet ring and put on his finger to put on Joseph's finger, and he dressed him in a robe of linen and put gold chain around his neck. But watch what happened when God makes your enemy your footstool. The brothers had to suffer 7 years of famine in the world, almost in the world. Who did they have to depend on? Joseph to bring them some food. Watch who you mess over. You never know when you will need them again.
Amen.
I'm talking about you gotta watch it. So they had to go to the little brother Joseph, thinking that he was a slave or whatever happened to him. But now they had to go to the man that's in charge of Egypt. When they saw Joseph, he didn't look the same. They didn't notice him, but Joseph noticed them. Joseph noticed them, but they didn't know him. All of a sudden, Joseph, his heart wept, and he cried out for his brothers. They were starving. Joseph wasn't like them. Joseph still fed his brothers. But what Joseph did, he began to tell them, he said, I got a little brother named Benjamin. Bring Benjamin back to me before you can get any more food. All of a sudden, the daddy was in love. He loved Benjamin so much because Benjamin was Rachel's son also. That was his blood brother. The other one was half brother, but Benjamin and him was both born of Rachel. Joseph bring Benjamin to me. They said, no, the father would not let us bring Benjamin to you. Well, you won't get any more food. So what they had to do, they had to bring Benjamin to him. And all of a sudden, Joseph began to weep, began to cry, thinking about how his brothers did him. The one thing that you can learn about Joseph, he still fed his brothers. Joseph was constantly mistreated. Joseph was constantly dogged out by his own people because they were jealous of him. Remember, they tried to kill Joseph, but they did not succeed because Joseph had favor of God on his side. Amen?
Amen.
When you look at the life of Joseph, you can ask yourself two questions. You can say, is favor fair? Yes, I would say it is in the eyesight of God. But when it comes to people, favor ain't fair. People will dog you out when God show favor on you. So I'm urging you, when you see someone doing good, stick beside that person. Don't show them any kind of hatred. Don't show them any kind of jealousy. Love that person and be there for that person. Support your people. Support your friends. If you see someone looking good, don't be jealous of that young lady. Show that young lady that you're looking good, girl, and God will allow you to look good. But no, we don't do that, don't we? We begin to build up the hatred that they had for each other. And I always tell you, I say, do the best you can in everything that you do. Because God is watching you. Someone is always watching you. I don't care what you're doing, someone is always watching you. He became so angry, and she became so angry, she said, I'm going to tear this young man down because he wouldn't sleep with me. But she forgot one thing. God had his hands on Joseph, didn't he?
Yep.
And when you look at what happened, the key what happened in Joseph's life, Joseph saved a whole country from being hungry. He saved his brothers from starving to death. They didn't know that God sent him to save the whole country from being starved to death. And that's what you got to realize. All of the struggles that God put you through in life, he put you through those struggles just to see how strong you really are. And that's what a lot of us do right at the God, I'm going to bless you in 30 days, 29 days, we give up on God. And that's what you need to do. You need to continue to put your trust in God. I don't care how many hardships you have in life with your children. So I'm not going to give up on my child. I'm going to keep on praying for my child. If you have a hardship with your sister or your brother, I don't care who it is, be like Joseph, and God will continue to bless you. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. And I thank God for Joseph looking at his brothers the way Jesus looked at us. What if Jesus gave up on you? What would you do? Jesus do not give up on any of us, but we are so hard to give up on Jesus, aren't we? Are we, Marlon? We're hard to give up when it comes to Jesus, ain't it? If you say you believe in God like you say you do, you need to show it. You need to stop saying what you can't do and start saying what you can do.
Amen.
Don't put in your mind, I can't do this, I can't have great things like other people. All you got to do is continue to trust in Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
And I thank God for all the mercy. It's something about this scripture. It shows us the mercy of God. Amen. It shows us that you can still love people in spite of what they do to you. Many people say, no, I cannot be like Joseph. I cannot love a person who tried to kill me. I cannot feed a person who tried to kill me. But what if Jesus thought that way about you? What would you do? Turn your Bibles to Genesis 45, verses 5 through 8.
Genesis
45.
5 through 8.
I'm going to start with one. I like one when they say, then Joseph could not hold no longer control of himself to his attendants. And he cried out, have everyone left my presence? So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. Don't it feel bad when you think that you got over on somebody, you think you got rid of them, and all of a sudden they appear before your face and they doing good? What you meant for bad, God meant it for good. And that's what began to happen. God will make your enemies your footstool. I'm talking, you begin to say, yeah, I thought she was going to be doing so bad. I had planned for her to fall down, but God continued to elevate that person. And that's what you need to look at when you do things bad. God always got a plan. Don't worry about what people do to you, because God got your back. Amen.
Amen.
So when we look at our 5, it says, now do not be distressed. And this is what he's telling them. And do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here. Now think about what he's telling them. They did this wrong to this young man. He had the heart of Jesus because it was to save the lives that God sent me ahead of you. God has a plan. When he putting you through something, he has a plan for you. Amen? For the 2 years now, there has been famine in the land. And for the next 5 years, there will be no plowing or reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you the remnant on earth and to save your life for great deliverance. I bet them boys look like I will never do nothing like this again. But let's go to Genesis 50, verse 20. We found the scripture about Joseph having the heart of Jesus. Verse 20. Everyone have it?
Yes.
You intended to harm me, but God intended it for the good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Who that remind you of?
Jesus.
Jesus. Woo, boy, you spoke for prayer. That's how they did Jesus. They intended to harm Jesus. But what did Jesus do? He died, he took the suffering in away like Joseph did, and saved the lives of many of those who received him, right?
Right.
And that's what we need to do. We need to have that heart of Jesus, to be on a war for Jesus and go out doing the work of Jesus. And we can do that by having the heart of Joseph. Amen?
Amen.
And I want you to know that in life, favor isn't fair. But if you hold on, God have a blessing on the way for you. Amen?
Amen.
May God add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of the word of God.